Yeah, yeah. You see it. It's me. Oops. It's me. Into me. Me. Not me, but also me. Anyway, that was a dumb intro. Anyway, hi. How you doing? It's me. Your gracious host Jalen. And welcome back to the Lazy Cast. This is not my usual intro, just for the simple fact that it is, looking at the time. Oh, someone's watching me. It's 3:12. You say in the afternoon? No. 3:12 in the morning. I'm a rebel. I'm dangerous. I know. Also, um, I also just don't want to be known as the music playing guy. Just to get turned up the music. So, eventually, I am working on trying to get myself an intro to um to these, but eventually, just gonna stick with the music. But just for the simple fact that it is very very late at night, I just won't be playing no music. Even though it would come through my headphones, it's too late at night to be doing that. This is more of a it's almost as if I was like a streamer and it's like the late night streams type shit. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, um, you know the deal. You know the drill, deal, spiel, feel, real. This is Ladies Cast. I'm your gracious host, Jalen, like I mentioned. Quick, I guess, update of what to expect. For one, I'm gonna be gone next week. I won't be here. I will be out of town and not coming back for about 6 months. So expect to see like 20 videos this week. I'm lying. I'll be gone for like a week. So and then when I come back, I go straight back to work. So I don't really know when I'll be able to get a chance to record. So this whole week, I'm probably gonna try to get a chance. I'm probably not probably. I need to stop saying that. I will. I will need to stop saying probably and put shit in the air that I will be doing these things. I will be recording a lot of videos for this week. Three in particular. The one that you're seeing now, where talking football, talking UFC. Video hopefully tomorrow. Well, Wednesday as I'm recording this. Hopefully tomorrow, if not Thursday at the latest. I don't want to drag that on along. Talking about All Star voting and things of that nature, and also just simply you guys with me, and you see me not predict, but make my All Star votings. So yeah, what my starting lineups for each East and West will be looking like, and also I guess my other pickings for dunk contest, 3 pointers. I'm not doing skills challenge because I don't even think the skills challenge should still be a thing. However, but only thing I know, I think, is that Wimby is supposed to be in it or he's considering doing it. So if that might be a reason for me to watch it or even to talk about it. But other than that, it's just strictly just be me talking about what all star starters whatever I'll be doing. Since All Star Weekend is literally like in like 2 3 weeks. So, and also on top of that, the video that I've been hinting at for quite a while is almost done. I just have to do some last minute editing. Um, I love some other voiceover stuff that I've been working on. Only a few people know the video that I've been working on, but other than that, I didn't want to. I'm trying to um, do something different. Also, not solely different. It won't be just getting rid of this. Like this, sports is always going to be my main thing at the end of the day, regardless. But it's also something that in the past I used to talk about that I haven't talked about yet on this channel in particular, or in my YouTube arc or era um, of the Lazy Cat. So that video should 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 be done hopefully by Thursday. Edit and give it some last minute edits and tweaks Friday and get it to y'all no later by Saturday or Sunday. So that is the plan. I want to at least get these 3 videos out to y'all um by this week or at the latest before I leave next week because I'm gonna be gone for a week, and I hinted at last time when I left that I talked about recording while I was out of town, but it's like when I get out of town and when I'm there, and then this is like, do I really want to sit down, put this damn camera up, set it up, do all this other shit, and really like sit down and record? And it's like, especially when I'm down there, you know, not on vacation, but I'm having fun with people and stuff like that. It's like, I don't want to like separate myself from those people, but I will be bringing my laptop and stuff. So it depends. It solely depends on how I feel, or if something fucking crazy happens. Like what happened last night? Oh, yeah. What happened last night when Joel dropping 70 points and then Cat dropping 62, I believe. And then Durant had 43. Durant had 43. Okay. I don't know what that was. For some reason, and if you have a MacBook, please tell me. I forgot what version this is. For some reason, if there's certain stuff that I do on here, it'll just trigger random animations. Like I've had it to where I've had a thumbs up and the thumbs up bubble will pop up. I've had it where lightning would strike and I'm doing this. Some random shit would happen. So if you have a MacBook, please tell me what that was. Cause that I didn't do that. I didn't do that. 9 times out of 10, I don't edit these type of videos just for the simple fact that this is more of a podcast format. I don't edit these really 9 times out of 10. The only thing I edit is if I don't know, the camera breaks out or some shit like that. Other than that, I don't really edit these. So I didn't do that intentionally, I should say. But yeah, the videos that just threw me off. Those videos should be coming out hopefully this week. Again, this should be coming out today. This is gonna come out today. It won't come out at fucking 3 in the morning, but it'll come out later within the day. So this will come out. I'll work on the All-Star video probably tomorrow or maybe later today, like around 7 or something. Um, do the All-Star video and just upload it tomorrow. So that gives me more time to work on that other video that I was talking about. And just to hint at it, it's not sports related. So if it has nothing to do with sports. The video that I've been working on for weeks and weeks and weeks, writing the script for, having different clips, different music, and da da da. Even if the video gets demonetized or even if the video gets copyright claimed, it's just something that I really, really, really been to do. And then also, I just want to hear feedback from y'all when I do release this video. So that's the plan. That's the plan. Obviously, a lot of stuff can happen. A lot of stuff that could go out of my hands that I just can't help. So my plan for this week is to upload 3 videos, maybe 4 if something else crazy happens. Um, but yeah, also with the basketball video, it won't be as long as this. It won't be because these are tend to be hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever. The basketball video at bare minimum will probably be like 15 minutes. So if you guys would like to see more shorter length videos instead of just longer length videos, chop these up and then put them into, I don't know, clips or whatever, right? Just shorter episodes or not short episodes, but shorter videos or whatever the case may be. Let me know and I will do those things. So yeah, but I yapped on a lot and that was just, yeah, I just yammered on a lot. But anyway, last thing, 4 things I need y'all to do: like, comment, subscribe, post notice, all that good stuff. I was told that I have a BBL thumb because my thumb has like a back on it. I don't know what that is. But yeah, so into enough of YouTube and boring shit. Strictly on to footy ball now. Now, again, I was going to cover the wild card. Stuff happened, wasn't able to record. I made a thumbnail for it and everything. I was right going to record it, but some personal stuff happened. But moving on to the divisional round, just quickly recap. Obviously, Eagles got eliminated. Same shit that I was saying all year long happened. Not even surprised at that point. We didn't have AJ Brown. Jalen Hurts was obviously still not 100%. Devonta Smith tried his heart out, and our defense is ass. So I know a lot of people wanted to hear what I had to say. It would have been along the lines of that, but just with a lot more anger. Now that I have time to cool down and, digest the win, I really don't. I mean, digest the loss. I'm actually glad we lost because I would have. I I really want to see us move further in the playoffs to perform even worse or to even give certain coaches on our coaching staff, our DC and Matt Patricia, our offensive coordinator and Brian Johnson, or even our head coach and Nick Sirianni, don't want to give them niggas hope to think, oh, we're going to keep our job. Buddy, get the fuck up out of here. At the very least, Matt Patricia has to go. At the very least, Matt Patricia has to go. I'm not okay with Brian Johnson as our offensive coordinator, but at the very least, Matt Patricia has to leave. We cannot come into the 2024 season expecting to be a top perennial, Super Bowl contending team and throw out the same bullshit that we had. So that's just my thoughts on it. Cowboys fans, that's all I have to say. Um, and yeah, every other team that lost, I'm trying to think. The Browns. I picked the Browns. I remember correctly, but I said I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans won. I didn't think the game would be a blowout, but yeah, I'm trying to think what else. What other wild card games happened? Steelers lost. I expected that. Yeah, the only big shock was the Cowboys losing because I think a lot of people expected them to win, especially being at home. Just expecting them to be at home, which you know, I don't. Hey, I, this is coming from not the biggest Cowboys fan myself. I thought the Cowboys was even going to win that game. Um, I didn't have them beating the Lions. Who would have been my, you know, or not even the Lions. I didn't have them beating the whatchamacallit, the 49ers. But hey man, say it is what it is, dog. But moving on to the divisional rounds, enough yammering about the wild cards. Moving on to the divisionals, we had four games, four phenomenal games outside of really this one. Which even though not too much on the Texans because yes, the Texans did lose pretty badly. Obviously 34-10. This was really the only blowout win for the division round. The Texans went a lot farther than they were supposed to. So let's all as a collective give a round of applause to the Texans because again, they were not supposed to make it to the divisional. They were not supposed to make it to the wild card. They were not even supposed to make it to double digit wins this season, let alone make the playoffs. So my hat, hood, whatever the case may be, goes off to CJ Stroud, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Devin Singletary, Will Anderson, all those boys. D'Amico Ryan, who was my coach of the year. It was between him and Kevin Stefanski, Cleveland Browns head coach, but after seeing what DeMarco, I'm sorry, has been doing from start to finish with the roster that he's had, yeah, I really can't see an argument for anybody else at this point. It's hard to argue anybody else at this point. It really is. It truly is, in my humble opinion. But yeah, outside of the Texans game, I feel like we've had solid games in all the divisional rounds. But since this was the first one, we're gonna go ahead and go over this. So the Baltimore Ravens, the number one seed and Super Bowl favorites, destroy the Houston Texans 34-10. Now, quickly going into the stats, obviously, this is probably CJ Stroud's worst game as a pro. Completed 19 of his 33 passing attempts, 175 yards, 0 touchdowns, no picks, no sacks, at a QBR rating of 72.2. Singletary was shut down. Nico Collins, CJ's number one receiver, had an okay game with only 5 receptions and 68 yards. Schultz had an okay game along with in the receiving game with 43 receiving yards, along with Devin chipping in with 48 receiving yards. Again, this was strictly just the better team won. I think that's just how you can chalk it up in my opinion, is that the better team won. The team with a lot more experience won, and the team that's just hungrier won. I think that's also. I think that's also what you can chalk it up to. The Ravens, and more particular Lamar Jackson, them motherfuckers are on a mission. I don't think a AFC Championship berth is enough for them. I think they want to go to the Super Bowl, and I would bet a lot of money that I think that they would win that said Super Bowl if they make it. So again, there's not much to say about this game that you know that you can't really just see off paper alone. It's just that one team just outshined the other. That's all it was. Um, but looking at the performances on the Ravens side, you say, oh, Lamar Jackson only threw for 152 yards. What the fuck? Only 2 yards. But then you look at this. Let me go ahead and zoom in. Let me go ahead and zoom in on this. Bow, 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 bow. Look at this. 100 yards in the air and 100 yards on the ground. We have 152 yards passing along with 2 touchdowns, along with 11 rushing yards with 11 attempts, I'm sorry, and 100 rushing yards, along with 2 touchdowns, and throwing in Justin Seal at 66 yards, and throw in a Gus Edwards who had 40 yards, and throw in a Dalvin Cook who also had 23 yards. So, oops, no, I don't want to print this. So, this right here is what's going to win the Ravens the Super Bowl most likely. And now I know this is a nasty I know this is a nasty thing, but just bear with me. This right here is going to win the Ravens the Super Bowl on the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, their defense is very gritty. One of the best defenses in the league. I got to talk about it, but Lamar Jackson, his ability to be a game manager and a game changer, linking back to what Cam Newton said, in terms of being a game manager, no picks. Yes, he was sacked 3 times, but still didn't turn the ball over. No picks. No picks. 0 picks. QBR rating of 122 essentially. On the ground and in the air, essentially averaged 10 yards apiece. So when you look at his ability to take care of the ball while also taking over a game is essentially one and the same. But his ability to, I think, where you shift into the game changers of a Patrick Mahomes, a Lamar Jackson, a Josh Allen, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, his ability to take over a game and essentially just say, yeah, I'm going to grab the ball, I'm going to take the ball, and you, being the defense, can't do anything about it to stop me. Sorry, not sorry, my nigga. I don't know what you want me to do. I'm going to take this ball and you're not going to do anything about it. You're know what I'm doing. 9 times out of 10, this nigga has 100 yards. You know what he's most likely gonna do. He's probably gonna run the ball. And did they stop it? No. Also, that Texan defense is also very, very young. So again, is this just alludes to just more experience beating a team that really doesn't have experience. A team that's was meant to be here versus a team that shouldn't even have been here in the first place. But again, not to throw any shade or not to Houston because, again, like I mentioned, they were playing their asses off all season long from week one to divisional round now. So shout out to the Houston Texans. Shout out to CJ Stroud and the boys. Them niggas are ahead of schedule because I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect this Houston team to be as good as what they were now. I thought it would have took at bare minimum, along with a lot of other people, along with a lot of other people, I thought at the bare minimum, it was going to take them at least 2 years for them to figure something out. 2 years. See, I promise I'm not doing this on purpose. Let me see. Can I? Okay, so peace sign means balloon. Got it. So I know not to do that. Okay. So how the fuck did I do the other ones? You guys, I did it. How the okay, I'm gonna just stop throwing up. I'm gonna stop throwing up game times. Um. So yeah. um. So yeah. I again with the Houston Texans. I thought they were going to take 2 years. I did not think that this team would be as good as what they are now, and they're not even at a full 100% because they don't have Tank Dell, who was C.J. Stroud's number one weapon and was arguably the second. Well, not arguably, he was probably the second best wide receiver. Obviously, Puka Nacua was leaps and bounds above everybody else. You could make an argument Puka Nacua was a top five wide receiver this season. So yeah, Puka, Tank Dell, everybody else. And the fact that they didn't even have him, and Nico Collins, who was right under him, right under Tank Dell as a wide receiver too, was having a really good season as well. That team is dangerous, man. And you have Will Anderson leading that stout defense, and then D'Amico Ryan, who is it seems like he understands both sides of the ball. Obviously, with head coaches, you have coaches that lean more towards the defensive side of the ball, or offensive minded coaches like Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDaniel, I'm sorry, that lean more towards the other side of the ball. I feel like D'Amico really understands both sides. And it's crazy because he was a defensive player. He was captain for that Houston Texans team back when he played. And I believe he played linebacker. But I feel like he understands the offensive side of the ball a little bit more than he gets credit for. So shout out to, can I do it for DeMarco? I keep saying D'Amico. Can I do it for DeMarco? That's for you, DeMarco. Shouts out to you. Hopefully you win coach of the year. You should win coach of the year. And you gotta really that Houston team is gonna be good for a very long time. A very long time. Now, on to another game. Oh man, I was clutching my pearls. I'm not gonna lie, I was praying on their downfall. I was hoping. I was praying on their downfall. But when you have Christian McCaffrey on your team, it's going to be very hard to lose. When you have arguably the best player in the league on your team, and yes, I said arguably the best player in the league, I think as of right now, you can make an argument that Patrick Mahomes and Christian McCaffrey are 1A, 1B. That's how good this motherfucker is. Mind you, he's at a position that isn't respected at all, being the running back position. So keep that in mind. Um, but yeah, the San Francisco 49ers going to beat the Green Bay Packers 24-21. Another young team that should not have been here, but also almost got the job done. They were up quite a bit. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey with his game winning touchdown that essentially gave the 49ers their win. And also, it doesn't help that Jordan Love pulled a Brett Favre and threw across his body to getting the game losing interception that ended up going to Greenlaw um, on the 49ers. But let me quickly talk my ish about the Packers real quick. With Green Bay, they're kind of like the Texans. They have Jordan Love, and holy shit. Let's talk about Jordan Love just a quick second. If the Green Bay Packers somehow, some way stumbled their way into another quarterback, and the thing is, Jordan Love doesn't even have to be as great as Aaron Rodgers was. Jordan Love doesn't even have to be as great as Brett Favre is. Jordan Love, if he is at bare minimum a Pro Bowl quarterback or at bare minimum a All Pro quarterback, what Green Bay is doing has to be studied by all other 30 teams, all other 31 teams in the NFL, because there is no flipping way that you have gone from a quarterback in the 2000 in the 90s to the early 2000s in Brett Favre to go to Aaron Rodgers in the 2010s and now potentially question mark Jordan Love in the 2020s. There's no fucking way. There's no goddamn way. No way that you could possibly have three phenomenal. I'm not even going to say Hall of Famer because Jordan Love this is literally his first season playing for real, for real. but 3 phenomenal quarterbacks to play for your franchise back to back to fucking back. Like I said, what they're doing in Green Bay needs to be studied by every other team that is having quarterback troubles. Not even having quarterback troubles, but needs to be studied in terms of just picking quarterbacks, picking talent. But hopefully, with what Green Bay has learned from their Aaron Rodgers mistakes, they can surround Love with some solid pieces, which they do have. They obviously still have Aaron Jones. They have some solid rookie wide receivers, and I believe his name is just Javante Reed. Javante Reed, I believe. Let me actually see what his name is because I don't want to disrespect his name. I forgot his first. I think it's Reed. It's Reed something. I think it's Jaron Reed or Javante Reed, something like that. So he's been solid as well. Obviously, still have Romeo Dobbs as well and Christian Watson, who's been in and out of the lineup this season. But still, imagine if they still had Alan Lazard too. That would have been crazy. But yeah, this Green Bay Packers team also obviously having a really solid defense to go along with that kind of fast-paced offense and what Matt LaFleur likes to do. And he's really starting to flex his, obviously, when you have a quarterback as great as an Aaron Rodgers, a Peyton Manning, a fucking Drew Brees, and things of that nature, Tom Brady, the head coach a lot of the time really isn't really able to get that type of respect that they kind of deserve. Obviously, they get some respect because they're the one calling the plays. But when you have a quarterback as great as those quarterbacks, it's kind of like, all right, nigga, is you really doing something, or is this nigga just carrying you? And it's kind of what's happening with Bill Belichick right now. I mean, maybe he ends up in Atlanta because he's been linked to Atlanta quite a lot. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Bill Belichick. But it's nice to see, obviously coming into Green Bay, Matt LaFleur he was a really offensive genius that was really like shoved down our throats. Like, yo, this guy is good at coaching offense. Like, this dude's really fucking good. So shout out to Matt LaFleur. Shout out to the Patriots as well. I mean, the Packers as well. So again, this is a very interesting team. And I know Bears fans are sick. You niggas are sick because not only do you have to still deal with the Packers because Jordan Love, at bare minimum, he's going to be solid. He's going to be solid. He's going to be okay. Unless he just falls off a cliff the very next season, which I don't think he will do. You niggas are sick. You niggas are sick. And I feel bad. I feel bad because Green Bay Packer fans have not had to struggle or have not had to gone through that process of just having a bad quarterback. They haven't had that because when you go from a Brett Favre, you go from an Aaron Rodgers, you go to a now Jordan Love, who's could shape up to be, again, I'm not saying he's going to be a Hall of Famer, but at bare minimum, a Pro Bowler, at bare minimum, a all-pro caliber type of quarterback. Hey, man, maybe depending on how he develops, sneaking MVP into it now. Hey, man, you niggas I know you Bears fans are sick. And then on top of that, you got the Lions, who's probably shaping up to be one of the best teams going forward and is currently in the NFC Championship right now as we speak. And then depending on what the Vikings do, man, the NFC North is looking to be shaped up as like one of the toughest divisions now. Because you have the Lions, you have the Packers who are still good. The Vikings, depending on what they do with Kirk Cousins, their quarterback situation, they still have Justin Jefferson and shit like that. And then the Bears with the whole Justin Fields situation, won't they trade him? Or won't they draft Caleb? I've already said my piece on this. I don't think they should draft Caleb. I don't think there's any quarterback that would be put in that situation that does different or does anything different or does anything better than Justin Fields and what he's been, I guess, offered or what he's been provided with. Even though Justin Fields in Atlanta, ooh, boy, hey man, I'm a Justin Fields guy. I like him in Chicago. Justin Fields in Atlanta. Man. With Bill Belichick at his coach. Man. That's Atlanta's division to lose right there. I'm just saying. I don't think he will be traded. I don't think he will be moved. I don't think any of that will happen. I think they will keep Fields. I feel like he's shown enough. He still has an amazing, I think, upside and potential to be their franchise quarterback. I still think that, in my humble opinion. And I think they will trade that number one pick to get a bigger haul. Go get Marvin Harrison. Go get some help on the O line and just fill out the rest of the roster. That's my plan for the Bears. Excuse me. That's my plan for the Bears. However, I'm not opposed to Fields going to Atlanta, man. Especially with Bill Belichick being linked to Atlanta, becoming a new head coach. Just saying. I'm just saying. Back to the game though. This was a good game. This was a solid game. This was a very solid game. Again, I was praying on their downfall. I wanted San Francisco. Could you imagine? Could y'all fucking imagine how happy I would have been if not only the Cowboys, but the 49ers would have also got knocked out of the playoffs and all the shit you niggas was talking about the Eagles all season long? Boy, I would have had ammunition for weeks. Instead of too many guns, I got one because I can still talk shit about the Cowboys. But you niggas better hope y'all win the NFC Championship. Oh boy. Ooh, Brock Purdy. Brocky Walkie. You better hope you niggas win that NFC Championship, boy, because you niggas lose to them Lions. It's OD, brother. You niggas almost lost to them. And they not supposed to be here. Let me stop. I'm talking too much. Anyway, looking at the stats, Jordan Love completed 21 of his 34 passing attempts, 194 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, no sacks, and a 72 QBR rating on the day. Aaron Jones had himself a game, 18 rushes, 108 yards, no touchdowns. Romeo Dobbs had four receptions, 83 receiving yards. With Melton and Kraft, the tight end, also having receiving touchdowns on the day as well. But again, with the Packers, I think it's just another thing of experience. But if I'm a Packers fan and I'm seeing the way that my team performed, not only against the Cowboys, but against the potential, not even potential, but against the best team in the regular season, the best team. Niggas was debating if this team was gonna lose again, and after they beat the Eagles, like niggas was debating, is this team gonna lose? Is this team already won the championship? Blah 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 blah. This team is hyped up and as much talent as they are, just to be within 3 points of that game or against them. Hey man, I'm happy. I'm ecstatic going into next season. But looking at the winners of the day, the San Francisco 49ers, with Brock Purdy completing 23 of his 39 passing attempts, 252 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks, with a QBR rating of 86.7. Christian McCaffrey had himself a day as well, along with 17 rushes, 98 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, along with George Kittle having 81 receiving yards and 4 receptions. Brandon Ayuk with 32 receptions 32 receiving yards, and George Christian McCaffrey having 30 receiving yards as well. With Deebo Samuel, who's kind of hurt right now, and I believe in reports they were saying that, like, he's 50-50. Like, he may or may not play in the what's it called, the NFC Championship game against the Lions. So we gotta see. We'll have to see with how Deebo is going to be feeling going against the Lions. But even still, those niggas have so many weapons. I think they'll be perfectly fine. So, well, let me not say perfectly fine, because the Lions right now is the hottest team coming out there, is playing like the best team in all of playoffs right now. So we gotta see. We gotta wait and see. But moving on. Speaking of the Lions, we have the Lions beating the Tampa Bay Bucks 31-23. Again, quickly going to the losers real quick. The Bucks, solid game. I'm not gonna lie, solid season. Baker, I'd would Baker be my comeback player of the year? Maybe because he played in Carolina, I believe, last season, and then came to the Rams, I believe. He played in Carolina last season, and I believe went to the Rams like later in the year because they just not off, they just moved off him, and because they were like, we're gonna get Bryce Young anyway, so it doesn't matter. Um, so yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Baker has a case for being comeback player of the year. Obviously, you have someone like a DeMar Hamlin who went through what he went through. I ain't got to talk about what happened with DeMar Hamlin. And also, you have someone like a Joe Flacco as well, who literally went from sitting on his couch to leading the Browns, being their third starting quarterback or fourth starting quarterback, I believe, for that team and leading them to the playoffs. Um, and also, I believe you have Baker Mayfield, who doesn't get talked about enough because the Tampa Bay Bucks just isn't that exciting of a team or that exciting of a division. Being the NFC South, which was probably the weakest division in all of football. So I could understand why he probably want to get the nods or get the votes or things of that nature. But I think he deserves some. And I would probably give it to him. If he'd probably be my comeback player of the year, if I'm being honest. I think he would be. I think he would be my comeback player of the year. So, but yeah. And all us, I don't. Tampa Bay is in an interesting spot. Depending again, it solely depends on what the rest of that division does. And that sounds kind of cliche to say, but that division is so just ugh. It's like it feels like anybody could win it at this point. Because coming into the season, it was the Saints division to lose. And Derek Carr, hella weapons on offense. Defensively, Derek Carr was in a new system, blah, blah, blah. I was of the belief that it was the Saints division to lose. I didn't think they were going to be anything crazy, but I thought they were going to have their moments where it's like, okay, these guys is clearly the best team in this division. It's not even close. And obviously that turned out to be the Bucs. But even then, the Bucs had their moments where they looked really, really good and had the moments where they looked like they didn't deserve to be on the field. So I don't know if I'm the Bucs, if you build off this, or if it's do you try it again, try to build off it and see if you can make something shake in the off season, snagging in some type of free agency or building through the draft or things of that nature, or do you just say fuck it and just we got the one playoff berth, we got a playoff win, let's just clear house. But I think I'm gonna go with the latter and say they try to build off this. Um, I don't know because Mike Evans, while is still very good, still consistent, 1,000 yards every single season of his career, screams consistency. I don't know if he'll come back. I don't. He seems like the type of player that would retire or play for one team his entire career and play for that team, but I don't know if he'd come back. I don't know if he'd be able to bring back certain pieces and things of that nature, or maybe these guys just leaves. But I think you do try to build off this somehow, some way. Go with Baker, see if he can replicate what he did. Give him that Geno Smith treatment. Hey, you had a great bounce back year. Let's see if you can do it again. Fuck it. And let's at this point, based off just how the season ended and how it's shaped, right now the NFC South runs through the Tampa Bay Bucks, and that's unaggressive or not as scary as that sound. That team is still a solid team. So again, I personally would say you gotta wait to see what Atlanta does because at the top of that division, in my humble opinion, it would be Tampa Bay and Atlanta. Just for the simple fact that Atlanta is most likely going to get Bill Belichick, and I'm watching that Justin Fields situation very closely because if Chicago moves off Justin and he ends up in Atlanta, it would be Atlanta's division. I mean, yeah, Atlanta's division to lose because they have crazy weapons on offense. They could build that offensive lineup in the draft. Can get some more weapons on defense. They already have Jesse Bates and them boys. I don't know. That's one division I would have to be a little bit wary on just to see, just to simply see. It's like I'm stuck between two teams. But shout out to Tampa Bay. Again, another team. This was the year of the underdog, man. Another team that wasn't supposed to be here in terms of just seeding and just betting odds and just on paper looking at the roster. Another team that wasn't supposed to be here and just got beat by the better team. Because if we're going off experience, technically the Bucs have the more experience than the Lions does. But just the Lions are just a better team. So, but let's quickly go into looking at the stats. Baker Mayfield, like I said, had himself a Geno Smith type of year where he just fucking went and balled the fuck out. So whether he comes back in Tampa Bay or whether he goes somewhere else, I think he'll come back in Tampa Bay. He's going to go get himself paid. So completed 26 of his 41 passing attempts, 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, was sacked 4 times, QBR rating of 94.5. Rashad White had 9 rushes and 55 yards, no touchdowns. Mike Evans, oh Lord, I should have bet on this nigga. Jesus Christ. 12 targets, 8 receptions, 147 yards. Good God. 1 touchdown. Cade Otton, rookie tight end, 5 receptions, 65 yards, and also a touchdown. Chris Godwin had 40 receiving yards, and also Rashad White. Yeah, is it Rashid or Rashad? Rashid Wright had 36 receiving yards and also a touchdown on the day. Holy shit. If not for these 2 picks, they probably win this game, which is crazy to think. But yeah, man. Shouts out Baker, man. Again, I think he would be my comeback player of the year because if I remember correctly, let me actually look real quick. If I remember correctly, Baker was last season. Baker last season was with the Panthers and then went to the Rams and then signed with them in the offseason. Signed with the Bucs obviously in the offseason. So if I remember correctly. So yeah, let's quickly look at this. Just to make it sound like I'm not just talking out my ass. But yeah, so in 2022 or 2020, in 2022, he left Cleveland, went to the Rams, went to Carolina, and then finished that season out, and then in the offseason signed with the Tampa Bay Bucs. So just simply looking at these 2 seasons as a whole is nothing compared to what he did this season. Nothing compared to what he did in this season. You got 10 touchdowns compared to 28, 8 picks compared to 10. Interception percentage went down. Obviously, passing yards went up. Average went up. Yards per game went up. Attempts went up. Percentage goes up. Completions goes up. Everything went up. So, yeah. Again, I could see why he probably wouldn't get comeback player of the year because it's most likely going to go to DeMar Hamlin just because of what he went through. But if I had to pick someone that should be in consideration for comeback player of the year or should he even win comeback player of the year that actually played games and actually produced and translated to winning is Baker. It's 100% Baker in my opinion. And I think people are like, oh, what about Joe Flacco and da-da-da-da, and the Browns were higher seeding than them. I think the argument for Baker would be, well, he played every single game. Joe Flacco didn't play every single game. So you have someone that has their ability and opposed to 2 other people that didn't even play half the season. And they came in towards the very end and then started to produce. And then you have another one who played but barely did anything when he was on the field and being Damar Hamlin, and also didn't play every single game. So it is an interesting take. I personally, again, I'd give it to Baker. I think Baker is the comeback player of the year in my humble opinion, but that's just me. Okay, back to looking at the stats. We have looking at the Lions. Jared Goff. He is the one guy that I could say that the game manager sting that Cam put on him, it isn't aging well. It isn't aging well. I'm not gonna lie. He was right about damn near everybody else. Tua, yes. Dak, hell yes. Brock. Brock is iffy. Brock is iffy. But I would say no for right now, just simply because of where they're at. I think it would be interesting. We need to see because you technically got two game managers going against each other in the NFC Championship game. So which one of them turns into go from game manager to game changer? But um, so yeah, and then I think Jared Goff has been playing really, really well. Again, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Ugh. Is he a top 10 quarterback without doubt? Top five? Ugh. That's just you can I could realistically hear an argument for it, but holy shit, you would have to stretch it. You'd have to stretch that motherfucker. You'd have to stretch it. But and all this is to say, Jared Goff has been playing really good football. And Jared Goff has been playing really good goddamn football. So excuse me. Shout out to Jared Goff. But looking at the stats, Jared completed 30 of his 43 passing attempts, 287 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 sacks, QBR rating of 103.5. Jameer Gibbs had 74 rushing yards with 9 attempts, along with a touchdown. And David Montgomery had 10 rushes, along with 33 yards, no touchdowns. Amon St. Brown had himself a day with 8 receptions, 77 yards, and a touchdown. And Sam Laporta had 9 receptions with 65 yards. So, looking at the conference championships, which I will predict after I recap all of the divisional rounds. The one thing I will say about this Detroit team, while yes, their defense is is improved a lot. It's improved a lot. It's yeah, yeah. That defense is improved. I love this. Now that I know this, I love it so much. I love that. I figured that out. But looking at Detroit's defense, let's quickly go to the Lions real quick, just to look at their defense as a whole. Just to look at their defense as a whole. This is what scares me. That is what scares me. And you see all the red, you're like, oh, that's the opponent rank. You know what I'm saying? About opponent. Offensively, we ain't gonna talk about the Lions offense. Our Lions offense could be attributed to him, Jameer, him, Sam. Pick one. It doesn't fucking matter. It really doesn't. However, God damn it. And even looking at the playoffs, when you look at the passing attempts, it's gone up. It's definitely gone up looking at passing attempts, rushing yards, rushing averages, rushing attempts, all that stuff is relatively the same. Not as dominant as they were come whenever in the regular season, but still relatively around the same. The passing yardage, however, is still kind of, but this is what scares me about the Lions. Their passing defense, their secondary. I was not showing my screen this whole time, but their secondary and also their linebackers, everything's of that nature. They have talent back there, players like CJ Garner-Smith and Branch and the safety. It's still, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really sold on it. And they're going to have their fucking hands full. They're going to have their hands full next week arguably the best rushing defense or running defense against arguably the best rushing attack, not arguably the best rushing attack in all of football, and Christian McCaffrey coming into Detroit or them going to San Francisco, whatever the case may be. No, they're going to San Francisco. So it'll be interesting because obviously with Jared Goff and them, they're going to rely heavily on Christian McCaffrey. So this may not even be a fucking factor, and these niggas don't even have to worry about them passing. But even still, it's it's going to be interesting. Again, I don't want to go too much into it because I'm gonna do my predictions after I talk after I talk about this last game being the Chiefs and the Bills. I gotta take the L on this one. I will take the L on this one. Like with every team, I'm gonna talk about the losers. I gotta take the L on this one. The thing about the Bills compared to all the other teams have something to build off of. The Texans, young team, young head coach, bright future. Packers, literally the same thing. Young team, young quarterback, young head coach, bright future. Tampa Bay, not as young of a team, but still something to build off of to look forward to in the future. And it also helps that they're in a weak division. I don't know where the Bills go from here. And I know that's bad to say as a sports analyst, as myself, with all the degrees that I don't have. I don't know where Buffalo goes from here. I'm gonna be very honest with you, be very transparent with you. I don't know where they go from here. I don't know what they do because there's no way in hell you come into the 2024 season and you throw out the same lineup and just say, let's get them again. Because you niggas damn near didn't even make the playoffs. It took y'all getting 6 wins in a row just to even make the playoffs. And grant it took Josh Allen to play some of his best football um, of this season, damn near of his career, just for y'all even to make the playoffs. So Stephon Diggs is most likely gone. Let's just get that out of there. And it's weird because Stephon, the 1-2 punch of Stephon and Josh Allen is still one of the best in the league. Probably not as dominant as it once was in like the 2019-2020 season, but it's still a very solid connection. But Stephon is most likely gone. I'd be shocked. I would be very, very, very fucking shocked if Stephon Diggs comes back next season as a Buffalo Bill. I'd be very shocked if he comes back next season as a Bill. That defense, I think, needs some type of overhaul, or maybe Sean McDermott just isn't the guy for them, and maybe he's on the hot seat, or maybe next season is his one last year. It's like, yo, we've got Josh Allen, arguably a top 5, arguably a top 3 quarterback in the league right now. Depending on where you have him in 2 or 3, he's in that top 3. I get it. He's turnover man, but when he's on, he's on. It's hard to fucking beat that guy. I don't know if maybe Sean is just maybe probably not the guy for that team because again, like I mentioned, they were 6-6 at one point. This team was not a playoff team. If the playoffs would have started when they were 6-6, the Bills would have missed the playoffs. They wouldn't have been the playoff team. All season long, they were very up and down, up and down, up and down until the point where they were very up and they won the 6 in a row. Came into the playoffs as the hottest team in football. I was wholeheartedly backing the fucking Bills. I thought the Bills, I thought this was their year. I didn't think they were going to win the Super Bowl or anything, but I thought this was their year. I thought this was the year they finally get over the Chiefs. I thought this was the year where they potentially could have got over the Ravens and potentially made it to the Super Bowl and faced off against the 49ers. I thought this was that year because of how good they looked towards the end of the regular season. And obviously, playing in the wild card, they beat the Steelers. I'm not even going to talk about that game. The Steelers has been so, it's literally the definition of inconsistency. So I'm not even going to talk about them. However, this was their chance. And to miss that chance off of a botched field goal, wallahi, it's like it's destined for this nigga Josh Allen to never beat the Bills. I mean, never beat the Chiefs. It's like it's almost his destiny. It's almost as if the football guys is when they was making Josh Allen, he pick up his first football. Nigga, you're gonna be one of the best quarterbacks the league has ever seen. You're gonna lead the Bills to the promise. You're gonna lead the Bills this down the third. You're gonna be in MVP talks, one of the best players in the league. Da 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 da. But you will never beat this nigga Patrick Mahomes in a playoff game. You can beat the shit out of him in a regular season. We don't care. But in the playoffs, yeah, buddy, you will not touch a W. You will not taste victory, buddy. Good luck. You're cooked. So, again, I don't know where the Bills go from here. I feel like I know one or two things. Sean McDermott is on his last legs. The head coach for the Bills, if you don't know what that is. I would not be shocked if he gets fired this offseason, or I would not be shocked if coming into the season he's on the hot seat. Because as much as I want to say just overhaul the team, get this guy, get this guy, get this guy, get this guy. It's been this way, it seems like, since 2019, since 2020. It's been this way. Y'all niggas just cannot get over the hump. You niggas would be phenomenal even in the regular season, even alluding to this season. You guys started out strong, hit a slump, and then finished strong. And even at come playoff time, I was very on the hype train. I thought the Bills, hey man, this is the year they could possibly go to the Super Bowl. I wouldn't be shocked by it. I wouldn't be shocked if they came in, beat the shit out of the Chiefs. I wouldn't be shocked if they beat the Ravens. And I wouldn't be shocked if they probably would even beat the fucking 49ers, how they were playing. I thought they could have had that type of run. But obviously, something is holding them back. If you want to say it's Stephon Diggs, get rid of him. If you want to say it's that defense, lackluster of a defense, which the defense is not the defense that it once was, you can also allude to that. I'm going to allude to maybe Sean just isn't that guy. Maybe Sean just isn't that guy for them. Again, I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but sometimes it's just a matter of fit. And maybe he's just not the right fit for that team to get them over the hump. Kind of a Doc Rivers, if that makes sense. If you know Doc Rivers and his coaching, he can get a team to the playoffs. Hell, he can get a team to the second round of the playoffs. But conference championship, nigga, the finals, shit, boy. You asking for too much at that point. We're gonna lose to the 2008 Celtics. Nigga, he had at the time 3 of the best players in the league on the same team. The Bills don't got that. The Bills do not have that. They have Josh Allen, top 3 talent. Stephon Diggs, when he first came to the team, a top 3 talent. And they were very close to getting to that Super Bowl. Obviously didn't happen. But over the years, they added damn near nothing. And I feel like the team relatively stayed the same. And every single year coming into the season, being Super Bowl favorites or being Super Bowl contenders, or damn near even just being like, yeah, this is their year. This is their year that Josh Allen wins the MVP. This is the year that Stephon Diggs wins Offensive Player of the Year. This is the year that they have the best defense in the league, and this is the year that they win the Super Bowl. They've had so many years where this is their year. This is their year. This is their year. When it never turns out to be. So I'm going to look at coaching and say maybe it's just Sean McDermott and maybe he's just not that guy. Let me not say not that guy because I don't think he's a bad coach. Maybe he's just not that fit. He's just not a right fit for them. And also, I think Stephon Diggs is gone. I'm gonna be shocked if Stephon Diggs is there come next season. And it's hard to say because he's my favorite wide receiver in the league. Yes, Stephon Diggs is my favorite wide receiver coming from an Eagles fan. But I'd be shocked if he's there next year as a Bill. But rambled enough about the Bills. That one's a little bit more depressing just because of the simple fact that this nigga, these niggas can't beat these niggas. So, and also, I alluded to it when I did my predictions. Don't bet against Patrick Mahomes. I alluded to it in my predictions. Don't bet against Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is the new Brady. What's one thing you didn't do against Brady? Don't bet against Brady. What's one thing you don't do against Mahomes? Don't bet against Mahomes. And the one time I did it, any other time, I would have been Patrick Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes. But the one time I bet against that nigga, he beats the team. Not even in like a blowout fashion. He beats it off the most ridiculous shit. A botched field goal kick. Crazy as hell. But looking at the Bills, looking at the losers of the team of the game, Josh Allen completed 26 of his 39 passing attempts, 186 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks, no sacks, 86.1 QBR rating. Also adding 72 rushing yards along with 2 touchdowns on the day on the ground. Again, not much more you can ask for Josh Allen. Again, even though I will say, again, I'm not sharing my screen. I will say I thought Allen should have threw the ball on that final drive instead of settling for a field goal. But let me not say settling, but should have put the ball into Josh Allen's hands instead of just being like, all right, we're just gonna get this kick. This nigga's been relatively on for majority of the game. You're gonna just take the ball out his hands, like, and sit right with me. But nevertheless, don't matter. Don Kincaid, 5 receptions, 45 yards on a day. Shakur had 7 receptions, 44 yards on a day, along with a touchdown. Tavius Murray, James Cook has solid receiving days, but the man, the myth, the legend, Stephon, yeah, he's gone. He is gone, and it can't be the same thing as, man, I just want to win, man, I'm just tired of losing, this, that, and the third. Because you got the second most targets on the team. Behind Shakur with 8. He had 9, you had 8. You can't keep having these big ass meltdowns in these big championship caliber games, essentially. Like, this is the Bills championship. Like, fuck everything else. Fuck the Super Bowl, fuck the comp. You can't be having big ass meltdowns in these games or even disappearing in these games and then go on Twitter and then complain about losing. Can't keep doing that. So that's why I allude to I think he's gone. I think he's gone. I don't think he'll be there next season. But on to the winners of the day. Patrick Mahomes completed 17 of his 23 passing attempts, 215 passing yards, 2 touchdowns on the day, no picks, no sacks, QBR rating of 131. Isaiah Pacheco on the ground also had 15 rushes, 97 yards, and also a touchdown. And also, I was seeing people say that Josh Allen outplayed Mahomes. Hold on, let me stop it. No one outplayed anybody. These niggas just had really good games, so stop it. But Travis Kelce finally decided to show up. Like I said, man, the Chiefs are gonna do Chiefs things. When it comes to these playoff moments, the Chiefs are gonna do Chiefs things. I know so many people wanted the Bills to win so they could just not see Taylor Swift in the conference championship. I'm gonna say a hot take. I generally don't care about Taylor Swift and her being at the Chiefs games. I feel like I'm the only person that isn't a Swiftie, by the way. I don't listen to her music. I'm probably the only person that generally just doesn't care that she gets shown every play that Travis is in. because I don't think it's a big deal. At least I think I think motherfuckers just don't like Taylor Swift. I think people just don't like Taylor Swift, or they feel like it's taken away from the football, and I can understand why that in a sense, but it's like, all right, bro, y'all at this point you niggas are just hating. At this point you niggas are just hating. Like is not that goddamn serious. It's not. And I feel like, hey, if I'm in the NFL or NBA and my girl, let's just say, I'm dating fucking Billie Eilish and she comes to every single one of my games. Or let's just say for the instance of being in a shorter season, let's say I'm a football player and I'm dating Billie Eilish and she comes to every single one of my games. Or damn near almost every single one of my games. Nigga, as the NFL, you damn right. I'm recording. Billy, yo, come here. Yes, sir. Oh, Jalen just made a play. Hold on, get Billy, get Billy, get Billy, get Billy. You know what I'm saying? Like what? Come on, dog. Is I'm at this point I'm not shocked by it just for the simple fact of her status. Like what the fuck? What the fuck? Like what? And I get people was like, oh, it was cool the first time that they did it. It was like, oh, Taylor Swift is woo. Woo. And I think what also pisses off a lot of people is that all the Swifties that are fans of football are now fans of football or are watching Chiefs games for Travis and they're having these dumb takes, and I'm not going to get into every single one, but having these dumb takes, I think also pisses off a lot of people, a lot of like football fans that's been watching. So it's like, I get it. I get both sides of the argument, but I've always been I genuinely didn't see it as much of a problem, especially when I would watch Chief games live. I didn't watch this game live, but when I would watch certain Chiefs games live, when Travis would have Taylor there, I didn't care. I'm like, oh, whatever. They're showing off this girl that really likes her fucking boyfriend. It just so happened that she's the most famous female artist in the fucking world right now, and he's the best tight end damn near ever. So I never saw it as a problem. So I guess that makes me weird or whatever. But I genuinely never saw it that much of a fucking problem. I didn't. I never thought it was that much of a problem. I think her fans is what makes it worse, if that makes sense. I think her fans are the ones that make it like unbearable for her to be there. Cause it's like, all right, nigga, we get it. You like we get it, bro. You like Taylor. Get it out your mouth, buddy. But yeah, Travis Kelsey had himself a day, 2 touchdowns, 75 receiving yards. Marquez Valdez Scantling, 62 receiving yards on the day. Rasheed Rice had 47, as well as Noah Gray and Isaiah Pacheco chipping in. Man, where could Darius Tony go? And nigga's gone. Bye bye, buddy. But yeah, good win for the Chiefs. Again, don't bet against Patrick Mahomes. Don't do it. So, looking at both conference championship games, we have representing the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs going up against the Baltimore Ravens, and representing the NFC. I feel like I just said the same thing. The Detroit Lions going against the San Francisco 49ers. Now, I'm going to give my predictions and say what team I think will win and why. Hmm. Anyway, um, so yeah, just looking at both teams off rip, my prediction was somewhat similar in the sense I was completely right on this side on the NFC Championship. So I'm gonna pat myself on the back. I had the Lions making it to the NFC Championship, and I also had the 49ers making it. So also right. Um, but looking at the AFC side, I did have the Ravens making it. However, I had the Bills in the place of the Chiefs. So it is what it is. However, man. What is today? Today is the 23rd. So these games, let me see actually. These games both play on Sunday, and then the Super Bowl is obviously going to be that next week or so, whatever the case may be. So, these are probably the championship games you probably would have wanted to see. I know a lot of people would have wanted to see Cowboys and the 49ers, but I'm kind of glad that it's the Lions. And do I think they're still on Fraud Watch? No, I would take back Fraud Watch. I think that these guys are legit. They proved me wrong. I will say that. I did have them on, even though I said that they were gonna make the conference championship, I was never big on them in the playoffs. I mean, in the come regular season time, because everyone was calling them Super Bowl contenders. I was like, whoa, hold your horses. But with them having a realistic chance of making the Super Bowl, I'll take back what I said. Now, depending on how they perform this game, may sway whatever I gotta say. And I don't even dislike the Lions. I really like the Lions. Their story and everything that they have going, the player that they have. I like some of the players that they have on that team. Um, so yeah, I think it would be a fun game. And then the 49ers, I would want the Lions to win just to make 49ers fans mad. I please, I'll again, if you niggas win, I will take back everything I said. You niggas would be Super Bowl contenders for 80 years. 80 years. Please beat the 49ers because I don't want to hear these niggas. I don't want to hear 49ers fans because apparently us Eagle fans are obnoxious. We're this, we're that, blah, 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 blah. But God forbid, let them niggas, and by them, I mean San Francisco and Dallas fans, go crazy and praising their team. But look where Dallas is. If you niggas lose, look where you niggas are. But again, this is, I think, the biggest thing coming from both sides of the ball in both teams. Obviously, defensively for the Lions, it is shutting down Christian McCaffrey. You have arguably the best rushing defense against, not arguably, but the best running back in the league, hands down, no question. And depending on if Debo Samuel plays, you have another really solid rushing attack as well. Excuse me. And then adding in Brandon Ayuk as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they're able to really not stop, because I don't think you can stop Christian McCaffrey, but contain Christian McCaffrey, because this will be a battle of who just wants him more. I personally think. I think it'll just be a battle of who wants this shit more, because again, you have the number one or top five, whatever the case may be, against the best player at that position. So it'll be interesting to see. Also, from the defensive side of the ball for the 49ers, how they're going to stop this dynamic ass offense. Arguably the best offense in all of football this season. Probably outside of the 49ers being number one, I would say the Lions were right there. Jared Goff, who has been playing really well. Also, Amon St. Brown, the duo running backs of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, who's coming to his own as one of the best tight ends in the league. Fuck rookie tight end. He's just one of the best tight ends, period, in the league. And also just a solid offensive team, an offensive game that could just kill you from just any type of direction. They want to run the ball, pound it down your throat with David Montgomery and Jahmyr. You want to throw it? Jared Goff, throw it up to Amon St. Brown and Sam Laporta. So they can kill you in multiple different ways. So, and I also think this is going to be a quarterback battle of just who can really take over a game. So, and again, alluding back to what Cam Newton said, game managers versus game changers. He had both Brock Purdy and Jared Goff as game managers, and say that they simply just don't have that ability to take over a game or change the outcome of a game. And I think if I'm Jared Goff and I'm Brock, this is my chance to say fuck you, Cam. Fuck all the doubters, fuck all the haters. Nigga, this is my game. Again, probably gonna be a little bit different for Brock, just for the simple fact that a lot of that offense runs through Christian McCaffrey. And I'm not saying he should take the ball out of his hands, because that's stupid and that would lose them the game. However, this is a definite game where it's like this is a legacy game, I think, for the both of them. As to where it's like, especially if Brock isn't going to have Debo. I think if he doesn't have Debo, that's also going to be like, okay, you really got to like, we really got to like get some shit going. So, but also it'll be interesting. And same thing with Jared Goff. Even though Jared Goff, I think he's beating those game manager uh things. Even though I wouldn't say he's completely a game changer, I would say he's kind of like teetering on the middle and like the middle because he's really good. He's been playing really solid. But are you really saying that Jared Goff is changing the outcome of these games? Or is he just getting it in the hands of people that can change the outcome of said games? Also, but again, I don't want to take away from what Goff has been doing. So again, this is a legacy game for the both of them. This is a legacy game for the both of them. So I'm very excited. I'm generally going to be watching this game very closely, not just for the simple fact that I want to see what the 49ers do and if they lose or not, so I can shit post all I want to every single 49ers fan I know, or even if I don't, you, I'm just going to talk shit. Even if I don't know you, I'm going to talk hella shit. That's if y'all lose. If y'all win, I shut up. Excuse me. But also, I'm curious to see how this Lions team goes up against one of the best teams or one of the better teams regular season time. So that was in regular season. So because I don't know, they looked a little shaky. They looked a little shaky against that Green Bay team. So, but in Detroit versus the San Fran, my heart wants to say Detroit, but my brain wants to say the 49ers. So, against my better judgment, I will say the Detroit Lions win this game 28-21. Lions are going to the Super Bowl. Now, looking at this game being the Kansas City versus Baltimore, this is probably going to be the best game of these two, in my humble opinion. I can see this game going to overtime, and I can see this game going down to the wire. Or Baltimore just says, fuck it, we're not losing, and we're just going to blow you niggas out by 50. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, again with this game, I don't think there's gonna be a bad game between these two. I think both these games could be relatively good. I just think the Chiefs and the Baltimore game is gonna be just a little bit closer. And just looking at those games on both sides of the ball, obviously defensively, Baltimore contain Patrick Mahomes. That's it. That's it. If you want to give me just to give a more in-depth, I guess analysis or whatever, send pressure, send a lot of pressure, send countless of pressure. You may be thinking, well, why would you send pressure? Patrick Mahomes can just scramble and I say send pressure because while yes, his wide receivers and Travis Kelce and all them boys have been solid this season. Solid the postseason, not the regular season. Have been solid come postseason time. They haven't been that great. They still haven't been to the level that I would have wanted them to be, or that they should be, in my opinion. So take away Travis Kelce, who I believe for the past two playoff games has been the leading receiver for both games. In the game against the when they played the Dolphins, and then when they just played obviously the Bills. So take away Travis, and again, this sounds easier. Me saying it out loud and obviously playing it is going to be two totally different things, but I think take away Travis or contain Travis as much as you can, and also just send pressure to Patrick Mahomes, which Baltimore can do. They led the league in sacks and just have just a crazy, crazy underrated D line and solid linebackers that they can also rush off the edge in a Roquan Smith and have solid safeties. And I think the best part of that defense is their secondary. I don't think it's a question. Even though Roquan Smith is their best defensive player, I think their secondary is better, if that makes sense. Because you have a Marlon Humphrey, you have Alexander Hamilton and things of that nature. Like you have those type of dudes that can essentially be game changers. Um, so yeah. And then I guess on the offensive side of the ball, it'll be interesting to see how Chris Jones and that defensive line is able to handle the I guess trio of running backs that they have, and Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, and Lamar Jackson. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that happens, and also just throwing the ball through the air. Their DBs in terms of Kansas City has been again solid postseason. Like Kansas City, the regular season team is nothing is nothing compared to what Kansas City, the playoff team, is right now. They've been playing kind of what we expected them to play like come regular season. Like once some niggas took Kadarius Toney out the lineup, I feel like they just got better and players just found their hands. So yeah, I think it'll be a good match. I think this will be the better matchup between the two games. And obviously, this is a legacy game for Lamar Jackson. This is a legacy game for Lamar Jackson. You want to get the best. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. Simple as that. And I think Lamar and that team and that whole organization, the whole franchise is just ready to just be, man, fuck it. We tired of being behind you niggas. Kansas City, fuck you. It's time for us. It's time for Baltimore to do what it do. I think I think it's that time. And again, I was just talking heavy shit about not betting against Patrick Mahomes and what I'm gonna do. Bet against Patrick Mahomes again. I'm going Baltimore, baby. I said it. I believe a couple episodes ago. I said eventually when the Eagles get eliminated, because I thought they were going to get eliminated against Tampa Bay, and even if they didn't get eliminated by Tampa Bay, they were going to lose to Green Bay the way that they were playing. So yeah, we were going to lose to Green Bay. Even if we somehow beat Tampa, we were going to lose to Green Bay. I don't think we would have been close to Green Bay. So yeah. I mean not Green Bay. We would have lost to San Fran. So yeah. I have Baltimore beating the Kansas City Chiefs because they're my Super Bowl picks. I said once the Eagles get eliminated, because I didn't think they were going to make it out the wild card round. Once they got eliminated, bandwagon straight to the Ravens because I really like this team and I really do like Lamar Jackson. Outside of, I would say, probably outside of Jalen Hurts right now, just because he's the quarterback for my team. Just overall, looking at the team, I think my two favorite quarterbacks would be the ones in the AFC being Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. So this would be a fun game to watch, and I am rooting for Baltimore. I want Baltimore to win. I think come from my predictions, my just playoff predictions as a whole, I have Baltimore winning the entire Super Bowl, winning everything. So looking at the score, let's say Baltimore 36, Kansas City 33. Game winning field goal to send Baltimore to the Super Bowl. Justin Tucker, how ironic that is, Justin Tucker to send the Ravens to the Super Bowl. So yeah, those are my predictions, my conference championship predictions in the AFC. In the NFC, again, just to recap, I have the Lions beating the 49ers 28-21, and I have the Ravens beating the Kansas City Chiefs 36-33. And I have a Super Bowl of the Lions and Ravens, but obviously I won't go into that until the Super Bowl actually happens. But as you can see at the very bottom, UFC 279 happened on Saturday. Now, I will take very I would take accountability. Can't take accountability for this. I forgot 279 was happening this month. I forgot all about 279, so I didn't get a chance to make my predictions. But my prediction would have been I thought Sean Strickland was going to win this fight. And if you watch the fight, if you watched the card as a whole, I guess you could say that didn't happen. So an interesting thing happened also. I fell asleep going into the third round. Not in the third round, end of the second round. So, quick story. I was at work. I worked, what was it? I had to be there like at 3, worked from 3 to 10 or whatever the case may be. At the game, finished the game. And I remember I was talking to one of my coworkers, shout out Darius, and we was talking about the playoff game. I think the Texans was playing the Ravens at the time when we was talking about it. And I was talking about the UFC fight tonight, or the UFC fight that was happening tonight being UFC 297. And I was talking about how I was gonna go home, we was gonna watch it. Not me and him together, but we were gonna like go home, watch it, be good time. Da, da, da. So finish the game around like 9:30-ish, damn near 10. So got home, laid down, ate, got on the phone, talked to some people, talked to my girl, this and the third. And the fight, oh wait, yeah. The fight that I the fight that I was on, the fight that was happening was Neil Magny versus Matt Mulder, I believe. Was it? Yeah, it was Neil Magny against not Mulder, Malott. I'm sorry. So yeah, that was the fight, and then right after that was the Raquel Pennington fight, I guess Beno Silva, and then after that, obviously, was the main event with Strickland versus Drake Duplessis. So it was after obviously the Neil Magny fight went into the third round. Neil upset win. So shout out to Neil Magny. Still got it. The Raquel fight, however, Raquel did a thing, but holy shit, I got tired and I was bored watching it. I was already coming home tired. Just because I was just tired and I barely got sleep the night before. And then just looking at the fight, I was like, oh man, I'm watching it on my laptop. I'm like, oh, I am dozing off. I was not paying attention to it. So don't ask me about it because I didn't watch it. I watched it, but I didn't watch it at the same time. But the Sean Strickland fight, I'm like, I just got to stay up for this fight. Once I stay up for this fight, I know it'll keep me up. And obviously that didn't happen. And it's not that the fight was boring. The fight was not boring. It was an exciting fight. It was a great way to start off 2024 this season. I was just simply too tired to stay up. But yeah, it was a good fight. I obviously going back watching it, it was a good fight. And yeah, I woke up at like fucking 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. And then I saw, and to my surprise, obviously because the first 2 rounds Sean was winning. So I'm like, oh, okay, Sean is just gonna beat this nigga ass, call it a day, go about my day. So I wake up, look at my phone, check my phone. Drake Duplessis is your new middleweight champion. I'm just like, oh fuck. And I was mad. I'm like, oh, I fell asleep and I missed the rest of the fight. And I was so mad. So now we're here. Obviously, I watched the fight. I rewatched the fight. And Drake has won. So the biggest thing, the biggest, I guess, takeaway from this fight was some people were saying that that Sean got robbed. And obviously, when you have the 2 commentators, the 2 former fighters that was commentating for that fight, where you have Daniel Cormier, who's a wrestler, Dominic Jones, who had a mixture of both striking and wrestling, but was also, could count as a wrestler. And I also watched a review from who watched it? Mighty Mouse. Demetrius Johnson, who is all wrestling, even though obviously had a good stand-up game as well. I'm watching it, and they're saying Drakus performed well in the fight because of him adding in the different takedowns, him scoring 6 takedowns, having control time, introducing and having Sean have to be wary and scared of the takedowns and have to just simply respect the takedowns. So again, who am I? Someone who's never trained MMA in my days, someone that just watched MMA casually back in 2011, 2010, back when Brock Lesnar was in the league, and then came back when Izzy was introduced into the league. Who just watches it for fun. I don't, I just watch it for fun. But I'd have to disagree with all three. And that sounds crazy to say, but hear me out. So when we go to just the eye test, looking at Drakus after the fight and looking at Sean after the fight. Hopefully I don't get TOS. Hopefully I don't get fucking, not, I said TOS. Hopefully I don't get fucking what was it? What am I trying to say? What am I trying to say? Copyright or fucking whatever. So yeah, this is Sean Strickland after the fight. This is Sean Strickland after the fight. Yeah, beat the fuck up. He got beat up. I'm not gonna lie. Now let's go look at Drakus. Oops. Let's go look how Drakus. Let's go see how Drakus looked after the fight. If I can find a picture, Drakus Duplessis. Let me see. Let me see if I can find his face. This is Drakus Duplessis after his fight. And again, eye test alone. Ooh, eye test alone is not the biggest thing. It's not, it's not the end all be all. Sorry, I'm just fucking around with that. It's not the end all be all. But when we look from this to what Sean was looking like, and even then, this came from an accidental headbutt, so it really didn't even came from the fisticuffs, even though Sean did get pieced up. I'm not finna sit here and act like that. He just was beating the shit out of Drakus and Drakus did nothing. Drakus was putting paws on that nigga. He was putting paws, feet, elbows on that nigga. But when we look at Drakus, and then we go look at Sean, and then go back to Drakus, and then look at Sean, you tell me who won. I'm going to just leave it at that. You tell me who won. Just off the eye test alone. If you didn't get a chance to watch the fight, just off the eye test alone, you tell me who won this fight. Again, this was an amazing fight. But if we want to look at the stats, and again, stats isn't everything. Stats without context are useless. I'm a firm believer that if you give out stats with no context, then you clearly didn't watch what you were watching. However, when we look at these stats, we look at total strikes. 183, 44% of his strikes landed, compared to 140, he got 39%. Looking at takedowns, 6 of his 11 landed, 55%. No submission attempts, no reversals, signature strikes, or significant strikes, whatever you want. Just really good strikes. 173 to 137. No knockdowns. Both men were on their feet. Signature strikes. By the target. Head 151, body was 10, leg was 6, 100 and no 100, 81 to the head, 32 to the body, 24 to the leg. And then strikes by position, distance 173 to 134 in the clinch. Also don't matter. But when we look at this, looking at this, you say, okay, 6 of 11 takedowns. Drakus did wrestle. Drakus did his thing on the ground. And what we don't see is the control time. And how long was Drakus on the ground? Or better yet, how long did Drakus have him on the ground? Drakus Duplessis had a control time. Hold on. Drakus Duplessis had a control time of 2 minutes and 8 seconds. And then just in case you niggas don't believe me, these are the same stats I just read off. These are the same stats I just read off, just added the control time. Those are the same exact stats I read off. That's on UFC.com itself. So, this is when we got to have this discussion. Does takedowns and control time versus damage and striking? Essentially, wrestling versus striking. That's, again, what it all comes back down to at the end of the day. Because, spoiler alert, I had Sean winning this fight. And the man himself, the big man upstairs, Dana White, also believed that Sean won rounds 1, 2, and 5, along with a lot of other people saying that Drakus won rounds 3 and 4, and that Sean won rounds 1, 2, and 5. And I would agree. I think Sean Strickland should have kept his belt. I thought he won the fight, but I don't think it was a robbery, in my humble opinion. Because I think with robberies is that there's no valid argument you can make for the other side. Now, if Drakus was just getting his ass beat the entire fight and then put nothing on Sean, then yeah, he got robbed. He got robbed. And the only reason he won was just because he kept taking him down and Sean just didn't defend it. And at the end of the day, yes, this isn't boxing. This isn't kickboxing. This is mixed martial arts. So at some point, Sean has got to defend those takedowns. Yes, there was no damage done on the ground, but you still, as a mixed martial arts fighter, have to defend those takedowns. You have to. You just have to. You can't just keep letting this nigga take you to the ground. Even though you're getting right back up right afterwards, you can't just keep letting this nigga take you to the ground. That the wrestling literally lost him the fight. The wrestling literally lost him the fight. Even though Drakus did nothing on the ground with the wrestling. The headbutt didn't even come from when he was on the ground. The headbutt came from when he was standing up. So the most damage you did to him was when he was on the feet. And it was by accident. So, but again, let me not do that. But yeah, it comes down to that same argument of damage and striking versus control time and takedowns. Because I understand 6 takedowns, 55%, 6 out of 11 takedowns, 55%. That is a lot of takedowns attempted, and that is just a lot of successful takedowns. But for the simple fact of only a control time of 2 minutes, not even a full 3 minutes, not takedown control time of 18 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, hell, not even 5 minutes, but 2 minutes and 8 seconds. At some point, we got to have this conversation. Dana's got to get with these judges. If that means he got to bring these judges full time on, whatever the case may be, you got to have a conversation with these judges and really sit down and look how this scoring shit works. Honestly, like whole honestly, because it's getting to a point where it's like, all right, bro. It's like, all right, bro. I get it. Drakus was attempting takedowns and he was taking them down to the ground with relatively ease. But at some point, if he's just laying on top of me or he's just taking me down just to slow the fight down, just so he can stop getting his ass beat, and he's just laying on top of me and it's not doing damage to me on said ground, that should not count as points. That should not count towards him. Or that should not penalize me. Just for the simple fact of he's just laying on top of me and he's not doing shit. Yes, as a fighter, I need to defend those. Yes, as a fighter, I shouldn't have been taken down that many times. I understand that. But if you looking, he did jack shit on the ground. But again, this was a close fight. Again, I can see both sides for the arguments. I can understand what I said, Morty, what Mighty Mouse and DC, both DCs, are saying, and just simply introducing the element of taking a guy down and just adding that wrestling element and just having Sean be hesitant and be like, I gotta watch the takedowns. I gotta, just simply adding that element into the fight is enough to earn some points and things of that nature. But you're not doing anything with those said takedowns. It's where you lose me. It's where you lose me. Because it's like, let me see. Let me try it. Let me try this. I could say there's two. I go up against someone one on one. I go up against someone one on one. And in a game of, let's just say, a game of basketball. And we're both, playing, going to 21, things of that nature. And this guy that I'm playing is shooting nothing but threes, nothing but threes, nothing but threes, nothing but threes. He's missing. He's missing. But he's shooting nothing but threes, nothing but threes, nothing but threes. And I'm going layup, 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 layup. And let's just say this guy has an advantage over me. I gave this guy an advantage. We're going to 21. I will give you 19 points. I will give you 19 points. Or I will give you 18 points, whatever the case. I'll give you a scoring advantage. And the fact that you had that advantage, but did nothing with it, in the sense of you win the game off of just one lucky three because I didn't defend you out there. And it's just like, well, at the end of the day, it reflects off me because yes, I didn't defend it. That's my fault. And that's what lost me the game, was what lost me the match. But for the simple fact of you having that scoring advantage over me or having that head start over me, clearly saying that, hey, I'm not willing to defend you out there, or I'm not willing to defend these takedowns from you, you did nothing with it. You see what I'm saying? That probably didn't make sense. But you see what I'm saying? Like, you have him on the ground, and it's not like Drake is foreign to wrestling. I believe he finished Robert Whitaker. No, he didn't finish Robert Whitaker. It was the person he fought before Robert Whitaker. He was wrestling like a motherfucker and finished somebody on the ground and got their back and do. And even with the Robert Whitaker fight, I believe he implemented wrestling into that fight and actually did more damage in that fight against Rob, who's the better wrestler than Sean Strickland, than against Sean fucking Strickland, who's not a wrestler at all. So that's what is blowing my mind in this whole thing, is just that you have the clear advantage and you use it, but you don't use it to its fullest potential. And I'm getting penalized for it, or it's winning you the match, but you're not doing shit with it. And again, that's why I don't call it a robbery, because if Sean was defending these takedowns so that 6 out of 11 turned into like 3 out of 11, then it's a totally different story. I would say, yes, it was probably a robbery. But the fact that it was 6 and he was getting them quite consistently and Sean just had no answer for them whatsoever, then it's like it's hard to really argue and say, oh, this is a robbery, Sean should have won. It's like at some point you got to defend him. At some point, it's like, all right, bro, you got to just stop letting this man take you to the ground. At some point, you got to put your hand up and stop letting this dude shoot that three. As like, even though you done crawled your way back, gave this man an 18-point lead. I done gave this man an 18-point lead, and I crawled my way all the way back. And the score is tied, let's just say 18-18. And again, not defending this nigga on the threes, not putting a hand up, not doing nothing, because I know this nigga's not going to do shit with it. And he makes me pay for it, and he wins the game. It's almost kind of like the same thing with this. It's like, yeah, he keeps taking me down. I'm not defending it as well as I should, or not at all. But he's not doing anything with it. So my life doesn't. I don't feel threatened that I'm going to lose, because I feel like I've done enough on the feats, and I've just it's apparent that this nigga just can't fuck with me type shit. So I hope that analogy worked. It probably just came off ass, but all in all, again, like I said earlier, this was, I think, a good way to start off 2024. I don't think it was a robbery, and what a lot of people are trying to make it out to be. How I feel about the Sean saying that he totally beat his ass. He beat his ass. Like he put paws and feet on that nigga. He beat his ass. But looking at the future, I guess, for Drakus, I do think Sean will be back, because the fans love him. He obviously has the skill set to be a champion. Like I don't think it's evident to say that he can't reclaim gold in the middleweight division again. Do you, in a sense, run it back at UFC 300? I don't know, because Drakus himself has said, well, yes, I'm pretty beat up, but he said UFC 300 sounds pretty good. It depends on how fast Drakus heals. If Drakus heals, Sean is good, run it back at 300. Because again, 300 is already lacking in terms of the card, in terms of just the card. Let's actually look together as a group, as a collective, at what is on UFC 300. If I can, what's on UFC 300? Let's to look at what's so far, what's on UFC 300. And I believe I gave my rundown of what I wanted to see on UFC 300. But yeah, so you got Zhang Weili defending her strawweight belt, Justin Gaethje going up against Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira essentially in a number one contenders match against Arman. I just butchered the hell out of that. Yuri Prochazka, again, I guess essentially in a number one contenders match against Roderick. Aljamain Sterling making his featherweight debut against Calvin Kattar. Bo Nickel fighting Figueiredo against Cody Garbrandt. Cody, I think, coming off a win in his last fight, and Davison making his his bantamweight debut, and then Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. So as a whole, this card is not bad. If this was for any other card, if this would have been for UFC 301, this would be a really good goddamn card. This would be a really, really good card. Really good card. And also, this is for the BMF belt. So technically, if you want to say, oh, they already have two belts on the card as a whole, then yeah, you can count the BMF belt and the strawweight belt. But for UFC 300, as big of an experience as they're hyping this up to be, the 300th pay-per-view, for the UFC and all its history and all its glory and things of that nature and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, this card is kind of weak. This card is kind of weak because outside of maybe these two and probably Charles, because Charles is just a household name, The rest of these probably is not even on the main card. I'm gonna be whole on the rest of these, the Yuri fight, Aljamain fight, Bo Nickel fight, Cody fight. These fights are not on the main card. They wouldn't be on the main card. At bare minimum, these three might be, and it's probably a stretch, including the Charles fight. If anything, that'd be the first fight on the main card. In my opinion, these two would most definitely be on the main card, just because of these two, and then obviously this is for the belt. But I don't know. Like this, so if you throw in Drake is versus Sean too, or fuck if Izzy wants to come out of retirement that goddamn fast, or not even retirement, but wants to come from his hiatus that fast and answers Drake's call out and says fuck it, we finna go run it, and it's Izzy versus Drake's for the middleweight belt, I wouldn't hate it. Do I think Izzy needs to come back that soon? Absolutely not. Please don't come back, Izzy. Drakus and Alex Pereira both called him out. Please, 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 for the love of God, do not come back. I'd rather him take a whole year to sit out. I'm being so serious. I would much rather him just take a year. Take the rest of this year and sit out. Or at least give it to the summertime. Give it to the summertime and just chill, bro. Just chill. Not to say that I don't think he can get the belt back, but just chill, dude. It's I don't think it's a rush. Because if anything, that belt is either gonna stay on Drakus or it's gonna go back to Sean. And I think Izzy, I'm confident enough to Izzy that either one, he can take the belt off either one of them dudes. So until Bo Nickel makes his way up the ranks, and then it's when we have a good fight. And whenever fucking Hamzat decides to fight. So oh yeah. But that has been episode 19. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Like I said again earlier in the video, 3 videos have been planned. Obviously, this one you guys should see later today. I don't know when I'm going to release it, at what time. Just know it should be out later today. And also, the NBA video in terms of just all-star, making my all-star voting or my all-star votes, and also just talking about the rest of what's going on in the league. I probably might record that video later today. I'm not sure. It'll probably be later tonight, but I don't know. But yeah, no basketball talk today, just for the simple fact that I wanted to get the more relevant stuff that's been happening in terms of football, and the UFC just happened. Even though I got to give my flowers to Joel Embiid, who just scored 70 on the same day that Kobe dropped 81, which was yesterday. Obviously, I'm recording this at now 5 in the morning. But shout out to Joel Embiid. Carl Anthony Towns just dropped 62 or 63, I believe, when they lost because they blew a 15-point lead to the Hornets. So good on them. Kevin Durant dropped 43 against the Bulls, and they won on a game winner from Kevin Durant. And also, Jason Tatum had 39, so basically 40. But also, Kevin Durant has some comments about him being in the GOAT conversation, but I'm going to save it for next video. I'm turning into a good YouTuber, man. I'm turning into a good one, bro. I'm spacing out these videos, man. I'm giving y'all the long ones and then give y'all the, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, post noties, all that good stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. That's Bitmoji me. That's Grogu and behind. So yeah, with his little bonnet. But I'm real me. That's Bitmoji me. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'm in Grace of Jalen Miles, and I hope you guys enjoy. I don't know what I was trying to say. I was trying to think of something funny to say. But yeah, thank you all. I love you guys. Thank you for being so patient with me. And I will see you probably tomorrow or at bare minimum Wednesday. And then hopefully see you guys this weekend and then maybe another one next week. Who knows? But yeah.